Welcome to part one of a number of short little tutorials here on LightWave's LScript. And LScript is one of my favorite features of LightWave actually. It's a tremendously powerful programming language that's built in. In this lesson I want to talk about LScript Commander, which is a feature built into LightWave 7.5. And I'm just going to start by loading up an object so we have something to work with here. I'm hitting the plus key, which brings up load object. That's the keyboard shortcut for load object. And I'm going to go to the landscape directory and bring in the coconut tree. This is an object you have on your system. It comes with LightWave. Now let's talk about, I'm going to switch to camera view mode here, but let's talk about what LScript Commander actually does. Because as soon as I say it's about programming, a lot of people get sort of intimidated by that. LScript Commander, when I bring it up, pops up this little window. And what I want you to see is that when I do stuff, like I'm going to pick this object, but watch this window here. When I do stuff, LScript Commander is aware of most things that I do and it records them. So if I move this around, it says add position. If I were to pick this light, double click on it to pick it, see it says select item. Now, let's just stop here and take a look at this. Add position, we got three numbers here. What would you guess those are? If you guessed X, Y, and Z position, you're right. That's what they are. So it's really pretty straightforward. Select item here. What's this number mean? Well, this is a sort of internal name that LightWave has for the light. If I pick the coconut tree again, it shows its internal name. This object starts with a 1, the light starts with a 2. My guess is that's something in the internal ID system, and my guess is probably right. But the point I'm making here is that if I do stuff, hit the Y key there for rotate. I'll rotate the light. It records that. If I go for P for the lights panel, oops, I was selected in this window. You notice this was highlighted. I should have been selected here. Then I hit the P key. Of course, I just did that on purpose to show you. Do you buy that? Didn't think so. Okay, so anyway, the idea here is if I hit the P key for properties, it brings up the light properties panel. And if I change the light's intensity to 50%, you'll notice down here it recorded the light intensity and so on. Now, I'm just showing you this so you get the idea, but so far we haven't actually done anything. Let's actually do something. What we're going to do is one other thing before we actually do something. Let's bring up the surface editor. I just want to show you that if I change the surface of the palm tree, the color, let's say, it does not record that. So it recorded bringing up the surface editor, but it didn't record the change. And that's why I said it records most things you do. It records a lot of different stuff, but not everything. So, okay, record stuff. How does this actually work, though? Well, let's say that I wanted to take this palm tree and get a whole bunch of them going down the imaginary road here, Beverly Hills style. The way I would do that is I would clone the object. I hit Control-C, that's the keyboard shortcut for clone. Hit OK. And then I would take the clone, move it out here, then I'd clone it again, and move it out here. And after a while, this gets really boring, because it's tedious. It's a tedious, boring job. So instead, let's clear these up. Let's show you how you do this with LScript Commander. What I would do is, with LScript Commander up, I would clone it and move one off. And what I'm going to notice is that LScript Commander has recorded this. Now, we haven't actually made an LScript yet. Now, let me just stop there for a second. You might notice this is kind of like in Photoshop, the actions setup. Except one thing that's neat about this is this creates an actual plugin. And I will show you that in a moment. But let's just drag clone up here. And all I'm doing is dragging and dropping. Add position, drag and drop. And now when I hit execute, it's going to execute this script, clone 1 and add position. Watch. Beats working. I'm going to pick this one over here, clone it once, pull it across the street, and now execute, and you get the idea. The whole thing here is that LScript Commander makes this an automated process. Now, if I love this script so much that I want to save it for all eternity, and by the way, you don't have to. You know, what I just did here, I could close down LScript Commander, and it saved me tedium and time. But if I love this so much that I want to save it for all eternity, I click Install, and that lets me name the LScript. I'll call this Coca Clone, and hit OK. And it actually shows up here as a button. And then now when I want to run it, I just hit it here. You can see it's creating new ones down the road. See that? So this works. Now, when I say it's created a button, another thing I could do here is if I go to Layout, Interface, Edit Keyboard Shortcuts, this has created an actual script. And I could find the script in here. I could either go to, I assume it's under Plugins, and I could look through here. There it is. If I'm a little lazier than that, when you have the Configure Keys button up, and there'll be another tutorial about working with Configure Keys, Configure Menus, but you've got this search. This stands for text search. And if I just type in Cocoa, you'll notice it finds it instantly over here. And now I could assign this to a key. Coca Clone. I see that there's nothing on Control K, so I pick what script I want to assign, where I want to assign it, and I click Assign. And now every time I hit Control K, you notice it's cloning them. Now, when I say this makes an actual script, and again, you notice no programming required. If I were to bring up my Windows Explorer, I'm in my LightWave directory. There's a folder called LScripts. I open that up. There's one called Macros. And here's the Coca Clone thing that I just created. This is no trickery. This is one I just created here. If I right-click, I can open up this LScript in something like WordPad, which is a little text word processor that comes with Windows. Let me just resize it and bring it over so you can see. Here's the script that I wrote. And you do not have to be a programmer. One of the things I like about LScript, and we'll talk about this in another session, is you do not need to be a programmer to figure this out. You can read English. I mean, add position. If I wanted to go 1.5 meters, my guess is if I change this to 1.5 and I saved it, now it's going to go off 1.5 meters. You get the idea here on the x-axis and a little more than 8 on the z, but you get the idea here. You could change this. So let me just close this. I won't save those changes, but this creates an actual script. I could, you know, upload this to a website, send it to my friends. I could sell this. And if anybody's interested in buying this one, just send $50 to leestranahan@hotmail.com via PayPal. And I don't think I'm going to get many takers on that, because you see the idea here. It's so easy to create these LScripts that you can do this, again, without any programming knowledge. Now, in part 2 of our LScript tutorials, we're going to show you what you can do. You don't have to be a programmer, but just being able to read will let you do quite a bit in LScript. So stay tuned for that one.